Hello and welcome to V News Daily Bulletin. Coming up next, we have your top stories. President Trần Đại Quang concludes Laos visit and begins two-day state visit to Cambodia. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Pham Minh attends special ASEAN-China Foreign Ministers meeting. Gong Festival connects ethnic minority groups. Vietnamese President Trần Đại Quang left Laos on the afternoon of June 14th to begin his two-day state visit to Cambodia at the invitation of King Norodom Sihamoni.
Earlier on the same day, the state leader paid a visit to former president of the Lao People's Revolutionary Party and former president of Laos, Khamte Sivandang, in Champasak province. He affirmed that the party and state of Vietnam always attach importance and give the highest priority to consolidating and enhancing special ties between two countries. Vietnam has paid attention to educating people, especially younger generations, about the relationship between two countries, as well as examples set by former Vietnamese and Lao leaders who devoted themselves to the revolutionary cause in each country and bilateral relations. The host noted with pleasure the attention paid by the two countries' leaders to strengthening the long-standing friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation between Vietnam and Laos. Also on June 14th, President Trần Đại Quang had a meeting with the staff of the Vietnamese Consulate General in Pax and overseas Vietnamese in Champasak. He also later agreed at the monument in commemoration of the Vietnam-Laos Special Fighting Alliance in Champasak and made a fact-finding trip to Laos-Vietnam rubber latex factory based in the province.
The media of Laos on June 13th to 14th gave over a lot of space to highlight the three-day visit of President Trần Đại Quang, the first made by the Vietnamese state leader since taking office. Major local media agencies include the Passason, Vien Chen Times, KPL News, Pathet Lao, Lao Patana, Vien Chen Mai, and Setakit Kankha. The Lao press pointed out that President Trần Đại Quang's selection of Laos as his first destination has shown Vietnam's wish to further strengthen and deepen the traditional friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation between the two countries' parties, governments, and people. They highlighted the outcomes of talks between the Vietnamese President and Lao Party General Secretary and President Bunyang Volachit, reporting that the talks took place in a friendly, honest and trustful atmosphere and in the spirit of comradeship and brotherhood. President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee Nguyễn Thiện Nhân has asked the Norwegian side to further promote cooperation with Vietnam in fields of the North European country's strength and Vietnam's demand. During his working session with Norwegian lawmakers, Nhân introduced the host to the position and role played by the Vietnam Fatherland Front in Vietnam's political system. Meanwhile, the parliamentarian briefed Nhân on activities of social organizations in the country. Regarding the East Sea issue, Norwegian lawmakers said they hope relevant parties will abide by international law and convention on the law of the sea. On this occasion, the Vietnamese official worked with representatives from the Norway Church Aid, praising the organization's contribution to charity activities in Vietnam. He hoped to foster information exchange and action coordination between Norway Church Aid and the Front in the future. In a meeting between Nhân and leaders of the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, the two sides discussed the possibility to boost cooperation in training researchers between the university and its Vietnamese counterparts, and look back on the efficiency of the school's science research projects in Vietnam. During his stay, the leader also visited the Vietnamese embassy in Norway and met with representatives of the Vietnamese community in Oslo, during which he informed them about the homeland's development in recent times. Vice President Đặng Thị Ngọc Thịnh led a Vietnamese delegation to attend the 32nd session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland on June 13th. Our reporters will bring more details.
In her speech, Vice President thinks that Vietnam will spare no effort to ensure better fundamental human rights for its people. She highlighted Vietnam's achievements in socio-economic development, law improvement, legal reform, and ensuring social security, which are important foundations for the country to strive for greater benefits for all. The leader applauded the crucial role of the Human Rights Council in addressing human rights issues at the global scale, and urged the Council to focus more on climate change and human rights, as well as speeding up the performance of commitments. Dinh also noted that Vietnam has gained significant achievements during 15 years of implementing the UN Millennium Development Goals. The same day, Vice President Dinh met with Secretary General of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, Martin Chung-Gong. Dinh said female parliamentarians, including those in Vietnam, have played a greater role at legislative forums and made substantial contributions to deciding key issues of their nations. Vietnam pledges to actively get engaged in IPU activities with high responsibility, she said, urging the IPU to focus on implementation of Sustainable Development Goals and climate change adaptation in the coming time. In turn, Martin Chung-Gong affirmed that the IPU Secretariat will work with member parliaments to build an inclusive agenda, reflecting the common concerns of the international community. He congratulated Vietnam on the National Assembly election and said the ratio of female deputies in the country is higher than the global average level, noting that the country's chair of the National Assembly and vice president are female. The official took note of Vietnam's proposals on supporting the settlement of disputes in the East Sea via peaceful means and in line with international law.
Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Minh met with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang in Yunnan, China on June 13th on the sideline of the special ASEAN-China Foreign Ministers meeting. Minh took note of developments in Vietnam-China ties and proposed that the two sides maintain delegation exchanges and contacts at high level, while pushing forward mutually benefiting cooperation and the implementation of agreements reached during visit of their leaders. He requested China to facilitate the import of Vietnamese goods, particularly agroforestry aquatic products. The minister expressed Vietnam's concern over recent complicated developments in the East Sea and called for compliance of commitments and common perceptions reached by leaders of the two parties and countries on well-controlling disputes and refraining from acts that further complicate the situation, while pushing for progress in negotiation mechanisms on disputes at sea. Minh also stressed the need to, together with the ASEAN, effectively implement the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the East Sea and early build a code of conduct in the East Sea to help maintain peace and stability in the East Sea and the region. Wang agreed with his guests on measures to boost Vietnam-China cooperation. He went on to say that both China and ASEAN want to maintain peace, cooperation and control dispute in the East Sea. On June 14th, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Minh attended the special ASEAN-China Foreign Ministers meeting. At the meeting, both sides expressed their delight at the important developments in ASEAN-China cooperation, especially at the results of the implementation of the Plan of Action to implement the Joint Declaration on ASEAN-China Strategic Partnership, including the upgrade for the ASEAN-China Free Trade Agreement. China continues to be ASEAN's biggest trade partner, with two-way trade reaching $470 billion in 2015. The two sides agreed to elevate trade to $1 trillion by 2020. Regarding the East Sea issue, ASEAN foreign ministers stressed the importance of maintaining peace, stability, safety, and freedom of navigation and aviation, considering it a mutual responsibility and benefit for all involved parties. Addressing the conference, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Minh affirmed Vietnam and ASEAN highly value their relationship with China, while stressing the importance of the ASEAN-China strategic partnership to regional peace, security and prosperity in Asia-Pacific. He called upon ASEAN and China to increase dialogue and cooperation in handling the East Sea issue. "19 enterprises have been honored at an award ceremony on startups focusing on coping with climate change, held in Hanoi by the Ministry of Science and Technology in collaboration with the World Bank. These are enterprises given financial assistance as well as incubating service from the Vietnam Center for Innovation and Creativity. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister of Science and Technology Chu Ngọc Anh said, in the wake of climate change, in recent years, the Vietnamese government has been implementing many new institutions, policies and action plans to enhance national capability in response to climate change. It has also been working to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve energy efficiency in economic sectors. In order to help Vietnam cope with climate change, the international community has supported many projects on green growth and in technical and investment assistance projects to strengthen institutions and infrastructure. In 2015, the World Bank provided non-refundable aid sourced from the official development assistance from the Department of International Development of the United Kingdom and the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Australia to create the Vietnam Climate Change Innovation Center. Through the selection and assessment of more than 300 project entries, the Minister of Science and Technology and experts from the World Bank selected 19 enterprises with excellent ideas, which prove technology's positive impact on green growth to develop a low-carbon economy in Vietnam. Vietnam's automobile sales in May totaled 26,028, increasing just 1% from April, but 45% from the same period last year.
The Vietnam Automobile Manufacturers Association said during the month, the number of passenger cars sold inched 2.2% against last month to 14,039. The figure for commercial cars increased 6.7% to 10,312 units. By the end of May, overall auto turnover has surged 31% compared with the same period last year. The sales of passenger cars and commercial cars and special purpose cars rose 22% and 42% respectively. Of the vehicles sold in the 5-month period, more than 85,000 were domestically assembled and over 26,200 were imported cars, up 37% and 16% year-on-year.
A large number of artisans and amateur performers from ethnic minority groups have gathered at a Gong and folk song singing festival held in the central province of Quảng Ngãi. We went along to take a look.
Local audiences have a chance to enjoy Gong performances by artists of ethnic minority groups, namely Hare, Kho, and Kado, who are residing in mountainous districts of Quảng Ngãi province.
This activity aims to raise awareness among local residents about their cultural heritage. It is not only about gongs, music instruments, but many others as well.
The festival also created a platform for such little artists as Dinh to represent lullabies touched by her grandparents. I like the Gong Performance Festival very much because it is our ethnic group's tradition. I will learn it and transfer it to younger generations when I grow up. The festival not only conveys a message of preserving cultural values of the nation, but also serves as a bridge for ethnic groups in Quảng Ngãi and across the country to further consolidate their great solidarity.
And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for tuning in. For more information, please log on to our website at www.vietnamplus.vn. We'll see you soon.